Lori with the gifted sub to Lifesaver. Yo, thank you, Lori. Sniped him. Fucking headshot, as always. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, I got Falcon too. Thank you, thank you, Lori, for gifting that sub to Life. Okay, what do I need? I need to get Godot. I have to set this up here. So let's go back to this scene. And then I'm going to do this. How did I do this? How did I have this set up? I think I can get rid of that. I'm going to put my camera here. Get rid of that one. And then we're going to go here. And then we'll go Godot here. There we go. So let me get this open. I'll see what you guys are seeing. Yeah, it's going way off the screen here. Make this a little smaller. It's a little wonky. The curved edges are kind of fucked, but it's all right. Good enough for today. Okay, that should be all right. So this is Godot. This is a completely different game development engine. Uses a different language. I'll show you guys what I have so far. There's no music or anything in it. There's no art. I'm leaving the art till the end. I think it was a mistake to start going on the art as early as we did because it was a pain in the ass. So the levels need to be kind of set before we start with the art. Now, you guys aren't seeing the runner here, so I need to... We don't want that. Let me add another window capture. Window capture 4. Sure, there it is. Okay, we'll just pull that in there. So here's our little fart. So, okay, now here's the thing. Here's what I need some feedback on. And I'll get more feedback on this when you guys play test it. But I want there to be some sort of simple mechanic that's like maybe sets it apart from other games or just something kind of interesting. I had a dash programmed in there. So like, you can jump and you like zip over. I replaced the dash with this float because I was thinking like he's a gas. Like it kind of makes sense that he could float a little bit. He's got that little stamina bar there. So I don't know if I love that as a mechanic, but it needs to be more than just like moving and jumping. There needs to be one extra thing. So either a dash or a float or something like that. And then, yeah, we got the wall jumps. The wall jumps are a little wonky. The float's a little wonky up against the wall, but I think I kind of fixed it. It's still a little bit weird sometimes. But yeah, this is basically it. Got a little dude in there. Same thing, you just got to make it to the guy. So this level here teaches you that you got to float over the spikes. Make it to the guy. This one also drives home the float. I want to redo these because I've like shown it to a couple of buddies and they've it's a little too pixel perfect. I want everything to be spread out a little bit more. It's just a little like annoying without being fun at this point. Like everything's just a little bit too tight. So I'm going to change some of this. This here just drives home the wall jump and the float, but I'm going to redo this part so that you don't accidentally back into it. Because what most people do is, they wall jump, they float, they make it, and that restart is really jarring right now too. Don't worry, that's all going to change. They float here, they make it, and then they like hit the spikes, then have to restart. I want like once you get past the spikes here to be done. And then this is like the first kind of challenging part in the game is this little wall jump section here. Which a surprising amount of people are having trouble with the wall jumps in this game. And I found them like pretty easy. Like I programmed them like the easiest I could. So I'm curious to see what you guys think when you play it. Because there's like some buddies of mine who are good gamers who like had a hell of a time with the wall jumps. But this level also is just a little too tight and like pixel perfect. And it's a little irritating. Or I want the levels to be challenging but fun and not just kind of annoying. I think this is my favorite level so far. So this one actually starts here. I was just I was playtesting it and had him starting over there. Oops. I'm supposed to start here. Oopsies. And this part too, like I want to space these out a little bit more. I'm going to make it a little more casual and a little more fun. Here. Boom. Boom. And again, obviously, like they'll be like turd bombs or something like that. I got rid of the turd thing that gave you the extra jump. We could bring that back, but with the float, I feel like the float kind of takes the place of that. Here's another wall jump challenge here. Then you got to fall and float. Oops. I think this might be the last level I've got. So actually, there might be a couple more. I'll have to check. Whoops. And sometimes the wall jumps get a little wonky. Sometimes it like, if you don't do it properly, you just kind of start floating. But so I might have to fuck around with that. But they're pretty good. They feel pretty smooth. To me, at least. Boom, boom. Boom. Yeah, and I think that's all I got so far. So yeah, it's coming along. It's a work in progress. How many levels was that? 5 or so? Let me get the chat back going here. We'll start singing Imagine. Yeah, build the house before you paint it. Exactly. Gal Godot, very nice. Alicia, have a good trip. Yeah, a little frustrating. I don't want it to, like, I want it to be difficult, but I don't want it to just be like enraging. So, Gerda, we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Yeah, it's smooth. What I like about Godot is it takes care of the collisions for you a little better than GameMaker does. And also it, when we get into doing like menus and UI and that kind of shit, in GameMaker, you have to write all that yourself. So if you want a line in the middle of the screen, you have to like write the code that'll draw the line. And you want like these words here, like you got to write all that shit. Whereas in Godot, it makes it really easy. You can just kind of like drag it in. And so the collisions in the UI are a big reason I switched to Godot. And I like the language a little bit more too. It's kind of like a Python based, here, where can I show you? Where's our fart? Here he is. That's like a Python based language. So it's like the indent syntax. It's a little easier to read. It feels more like a big boy language than GML. You can actually make like vector 2s, like, yeah, you can do raycasting and shit like that. So this is the code that controls the player so far. But yeah, so my goal for the week was to make a couple. I was thinking it'd be fun to maybe make a few new like enemies or hazards. Another thing I like about Godot is you can make 3D games. So once I get the hang of making a 2D game, it'd be fun to like start pissing around in 3D. GameMaker, you can only do 2D. Well, I think you can do 3D, but it's not set up to do 3D. I'm gonna pull the chat up here, and well, let's get some background music going on here. Royalty-free background music. But yeah, so my goal is 15 levels, even if they're just simple, even if it takes you literally 3 minutes to play the 15 levels, get them on the internet so that you guys can play test them and give me some feedback by the end of March. That's the goal. Put on some synthwave. Turn it down. Let me know how the level is there. So yeah, ideas for a hazard. I was playing, what was I playing? Super Meat Boy, I think. I like the idea, here, I'm going to turn it down just a touch more. I like the idea of like I don't really know how to explain it, like a central kind of node with a thing coming off of it. Or even like, I was thinking like some like electric spike, like an electric spike ball that has like 3 like little things of electricity coming on that rotate around that you have to avoid. Or maybe something that like has platforms on it and the platforms rotate around or something. I'm not sure. Have to leave car repairs. No worries. $700. Fuck, that sucks. Not float over the top where you drop down. Yeah, you can. The levels are like they're not set up in a way that, like, yeah, I would have to block sections off and stuff. They're just, these are like jot notes. Think of these levels as jot note levels so far. Sounds good, Marin. I think the final finished product I want on Newgrounds. Yeah. Finished product on Newgrounds for sure. So let's see what we can do here. Let's just see. What would step 1 be? Trying to make things rotating is kind of interesting. Let's try. Here, I'm just gonna. Oh, fuck. I don't have a sprite on here yet. Okay, let me try something. Don't have my pixel art thing on the new computer. Let me think. Let's try. You know what? Let's go really simple for today. We don't have a lot of time. I gotta leave in 45 minutes. Let's see if we can make a platform that moves back and forth. Real fucking tough, real crazy code. But if we can make something that just moves back and forth a little bit, that'd be awesome. So the way Godot works is like a... Oh, you guys aren't seeing most of this, eh? I wonder why that happened. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Ah. Weird. Sorry, I just realized that the... when the game window shuts, it just defaults back to this window. All right, we'll just leave it like this. It doesn't look great. It doesn't have the rounded corners, but whatever. We'll leave it like that for today. But yes, I do want to put it on Newgrounds. Okay, so what is this going to be? This is going to be... So Godot uses this node-based system, and everything, it's like everything's built in a tree, and all the branches of the tree inherit all the properties of its parent. It's kind of like object-oriented programming, but like it's structured the same way like an object-oriented programming language is structured. So you kind of start with like a main node, and then you add like child nodes to it, and they all kind of act together. So I think what we want to use is a kinematic body 2D, because a rigid body is something that just reacts to the physics engine, and a kinematic body reacts to code, I'm pretty sure. So we need to add a collision shape as a node. And then the shape is going to be a rectangle. Okay, and then we're also going to add a sprite, which is an image. And we're just going to use this. This is the Godot. It's like a joke in the Godot community that icon.png is just like what everybody uses. There's a way to resize this without changing the... There we go. Okay, and actually, let's make this... Whoops. Oh, that's weird. Usually it pulls from... It's weird. It's acting kind of different. Usually when you resize a collision shape, it resizes both sides at the same time, but that's all right. Okay, so this will be our platform. Okay, it's a kinematic body. Now, collision. It is going to be on the... Put it on the wall layer, I think. And then it's going to collide with... It'll just collide with the player. So that should be okay. So let's call this moving platform. Save the scene. Yeah, and each like thing you make is called a scene, and then you put scenes inside of scenes inside of scenes. So you could have like a gun scene, and then like you'd put that gun, you'd program that gun, and then put that scene into your character scene when your character picks up the gun. That kind of thing. Saray Lost, what's going on? Welcome on in. Welcome on in. You already like the shape, all right. Okay, so let's start. I'm just going to plop this into the first level here, and we're going to see if the character reacts to it the way we want to. And it probably won't. And it's been a long time since I've worked on this, so kind of a learning process here, figuring out how Godot works and everything again. Godot. But let's throw, so how do we do this? We link in a new scene. The scene will be moving platform. Where are you? Why isn't it showing up? Moving platform.tscn. There it is. Okay, let's just see what happens when we run this. Does my dude jump on top of it? Yes, he does. Perfect. Okay, it's a little big. So let's make it, what is the 8x8? I think is the, let's turn this on. Use pixel snap. Want that to snap to the center there. Whoops. Okay, and then we'll resize our collision shape. See, this is really cool. What I love about Godot is like, this is a collider. I could have like 3 or 4 different colliders on one object if I wanted. Which in GameMaker, you can just have one collision shape per object. This is pretty cool because you can have an enemy that like when you jump on top of it, it kills it. But if the enemy runs into you, you die. You can have shit like that. Makes it really, really simple. GameMaker, it would be a little trickier. Okay, let's save that, and then let's actually make it a little bit thinner too. And I wish, I don't know why it's not doing the thing that it usually does, where it resizes both sides at the same time. It's kind of weird. Wonder if they changed that. No matter. Okay, let's see how this looks. Yeah, that's the right size. Saray Lost, welcome on in. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. What music? This is just a little royalty-free background music on YouTube. Gazebo, you have a wonderful day. Yeah, scene in a scene in a scene. Oh, what are we listening to? What's my favorite? Man, All Shall Perish is probably my new favorite band. Okay, so now let's see if we can program a little bit of movement into this thing. So, we need to add a script. This is where it gets tricky. So let's get rid of that. Okay. So, what variables are we going to need? We're going to need, let's call it move distance. And let's just say, I don't know, 10. Give it an arbitrary number to start. See if we can fix it. And then we'll call, how do we do this? So I'm trying to think what the best way. So we want it to move, let's say 10 pixels to the left, move back to center, or sorry, to the right, move back to the center, 10 pixels to the left, back to center. So how do we tell it to, how does it know when it's moved 10 pixels? That's the puzzle right now. I said it. Cotton. Hell yeah. So one way we could do this is have a var called counter that counts up as we're going. So I'm going to add this function. This is physics process delta, which basically means anything I write under this line here, anything that's indented under that line, the game is going to run this code at the frame rate of the game, which in this case is 60 times a second. So anything that's written under here is going to happen every single step. No worries, Mitch. No worries, man. You can ask all the questions you want. I'll try and explain them. No, I'm not going to play my favorite in the back. We just got started working here, and I only got about a half hour, 40 minutes before I got to take off. But check out All Shall Perish. They're like a heavy metal band. Okay, so basically what we want is... Now, does it have a position? It does. So position... Here's what we're going to say. We're going to say position.x plus equals 1. So that means it's going to add 1 to the position every frame. This might be way too fast. Let's just see if we can make it move to the right first. This is how I program. I get like one little step of the way. And you're like, okay, first let's see if the guy can jump on it. Okay, that's good. Now let's see if we can make it move to the right. Okay, good. So actually I'm going to call it... This might be way too fast, but let's just see. Position x plus equals 1. We'll say if, and then we're going to say counter. So as it moves its x position, the counter is also going to increase. And then we'll say if, no, we'll do this. If counter is less than or equal to move distance, then it'll move its position forward by 1. The counter will increase by 1. So it should only move essentially 10 pixels to the right. And actually here, let's do 100 just to see if this works. Okay, let's just see what happens when we run this. So we go back to our level. Watch how it behaves. Okay. Okay, so it's moving and then it stops. That's good. So I don't know if that makes sense, but essentially I have a variable here called counter. It's set at 0 to start. Move distance is 100. If the counter is less than or equal to move distance, which in this case it is, it's 0, and the move distance is 100, it's going to move to the right. Position is just a built-in like variable that every object in the game has. And then it has an X position, which is this axis, and a Y position, which is this axis. So it's just increasing the value of that X position by 1 every step. And then the counter is also adding up to 1. Reason being, I want it to stop after a certain distance, right? If I didn't have this line in here, it would just keep moving. Oops, you can kind of see it at the top there. I didn't run the right scene, but we go here. See, now it'll just keep going because that counter is 0. So it's doing the check. It's checking, is the counter variable less than the move distance? Yep. So it's just going to continue adding it by 1. Does that make sense? So let's change this maybe to 20. And we'll make this smoother and nicer as we go. I'm just trying to get the basic functionality down, and then we can add like lerps where it'll like move faster at the start and kind of slow down as it gets to its position and kind of like move a little smoother. But first I just want to get the logic down. Saf, what's up, dude? You're staying? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We play a lot of music here. We're mostly a music channel. You just missed the banjo portion of the day. But I play in a band called the Dead South. So I play Dead South music. I play covers on the banjo. I play guitar a little bit. Yeah, and then this is just my hobby. I got into game development over COVID, and I really like it. So I'm trying to build a game. I've been slowly hacking away at this for the last little while. Yeah, exactly. The counter is what tells it to stop. Excuse me. And this isn't the best way to do that, but it works. Okay, so now the tricky thing is, how do we get it to move back? We can't just say, because if we said, for example, if we said if the counter is greater than, or wait, no. Oh yeah, here we go. I have an idea. If counter is greater than or equal to move distance, we'll say move distance equals negative move distance. So then it's going to change this 20 to negative 20, and then it should do the same thing. But then this part, let's see, counter, let's just see what happens here when we run it. This might get kind of wonky. I'm going to put that back up to 100 just to see. Oops. Oh, you guys aren't seeing this when it pops up. You're not seeing the game window when it pops up, hey? I don't know why it's doing that. Here, hold on. Sorry about that. You guys weren't seeing any of that shit. Okay, so I got to change this capture. It's tricky because every time I close it, OBS gets confused. It's weird because it worked earlier. It's really bizarre. Okay, here, let me remove this. Okay, we'll add another window capture. Okay, there. It's weird. And then as soon as I close this, it goes back to the regular Godot, and then when I run it, it doesn't switch back. Fuck, that's kind of annoying. I don't know if there's a way to fix that. I might have to do a screen capture, but my screen is kind of crazy right now. Fuck, this is annoying actually. And it's weird, when I switch it back to that window, it doesn't change back. It just stays as the Godot. I gotta figure this out. That's an interesting problem I didn't expect. Okay, whatever. We'll just do it this way. This is gonna be an annoying way to do it, but we're gonna have to just remove and re-add every time. So we'll run it. Add the source. Here we go. Window title must match. Okay, actually this might fix it. Let me see if I close it now. And then rerun. Yeah, okay, there we go. We got it. Okay, so pull this in here. Okay, so we got this little thing. So sorry guys, you didn't see any of that shit I was talking about here. Basically, yeah, you were seeing the code though, right? So now when we run it, oops. This guy moves all the way to the right, and then it changes this distance to negative 100. Counter is less than equal to, let's try this. No, that won't work. Okay, getting it to move back left is tricky. Yeah, if unshaded but equals inactive, then go to fart. Okay, so then it changes our move distance to negative 100. That's not going to work either, though, because it's going to move 100 from its current position. So that wouldn't work. Okay, let me think about this. Actually, no, that could be okay. That could be okay. Another thing we could do, which might even be easier, is just put it on a timer. So it moves this direction for 1 second, moves back for 1 second. Let's try that. That might be even easier. So let's go back to our... The cool thing about programming is there's always a million ways you can do anything. It's just like, that's the creativity part, is just how you get something to work. Okay, so that means I can pull this out a little bit more again. Okay. So let's not worry about this. I'm just going to comment all this out. Oops. This is just making it so the code doesn't run. I'll just ignore it. Okay, and we're going to add... Oh, I got to put pass in here, so we don't get an error. Okay, we're going to add to our... We're going to add another thing in the tree, and it's going to be a timer.
There are probably 120 million.
Quantium Base, what is happening, my dude? How you doing, man? Hell yeah, welcome on in, dude. How are you doing? Fuck yeah, Quantium. Thank you for the raid, man. We're doing a little game development here, but I'll take a quick break and play a tune for the raid. Guys, everyone go follow Quantium. He's been hanging out here every now and again. How was your stream, man? What were you up to? Hell yeah. Exclamation point SL. Grab a song from that list, man. I'll play you a little banger. Play you a little banger for the raid. We only got about 30 minutes left here. Working on a game about farts right now. I can show you what I got so far. So I'm a very hobbyist game developer. I started learning programming over COVID. But basically the game, we're just getting the basic functionality down. But essentially you're this little fart. And you got to just get to the person and make them smell you. And they'll be like, you know, it'll be funny. There'll be an animation and everything. Whoops. But for right now, we're just getting the basic logic building block set. Whoops. Yeah, so that's a little bug. This float gets weird if you're floating and then you go up to a wall. It starts to act kind of weird. It drops you off. So I got to fix that. Or sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. I got to look at that. Fix that. But yeah, it's just a little fucking Super Meat Boy style platformer. Just for fun, just as a hobby. Something I enjoy doing. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, awesomes. Anyways, yeah. So right now we're working on something real simple. We're just trying to make a little platform that moves back and forth. Fuck yeah. But yeah, if you got a tune you'd like me to play for you. Elanuka, welcome back. If you got a tune you'd like me to play, I'd happily play you a tune. Like I said, we got about 25 minutes, and then I got to run. I have an appointment, and then I got to pick my wife up from work. So, let's see. So, I'm going to do a timer instead. Let me think about this. So, the timer, the wait time will be 1 second. Auto start on. So, that means it's going to start automatically when it's placed into the game. Might not need this counter variable anymore. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say position. So in this physics process, which means this is going to run 60 times a second, we're going to say the position.x plus equals, and actually we're going to make a new actually it would be a constant. Call it move speed. And let's say move speed is 1. So position X is going to increase by move speed. Okay, and then what we need to do is when this timer times out, so we got a new function here. Function is like, think of a function as like a teeny tiny little program that runs like a couple lines of code. So when the timer times out, we're going to say move. Oh, you know what? It's a constant. We're actually going to have to make it a variable because we're changing it. So it's going to be move speed is 1. So now when the timer, oops, change that. When the timer times out, we're just going to say move speed equals negative move speed. So if it's 1, it'll become -1. And if it's -1, it'll become 1. And then each second, it should go back and forth. So let's just see. Let's put it in the level. Let's see what happens. See if I was right. Boom, boom. There it is. Boom. We got our moving platform, baby. I think it's moving a little fast. So we could put the move speed to be 0.5. And maybe we want it. Do we want it to pause maybe for a second? Hey, thank you. It worked. It worked. The timer was easier than the counter variable. So then we can go back here. We can get rid of this. Oops, 0.5. We can get rid of this code here. Don't need that anymore. Fall back down. You got it, man. You got it. Let me save. Get this royalty-free music off. Pull this back down for a sec. It's fun, hey? It's cool, man. I love programming. It's just a logic puzzle. You have an idea in your head, this is what I want to happen, and then you have to like solve the puzzle. It's super fun. Okay, I need the chords for this song. Rancid chords. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. Diddly-bip-bidoo, rip-a-tip-a-tip-a-tip-a-tip-a-too. Rip-a-tim-tim-too, rip-a-tip-a-tip-a-tim-too. Okay, and there is like a bridge somewhere in here. It takes an accident to learn a lesson. There it is. Takes disaster to learn a lesson. Okay, I think we should be good to go. Let me turn the banjo back on. Boom. Yeah, man. When it works, it feels so good. Either or both of your boys, fuck, dude. It's fun, man. It's really, really fun. It's weird. It's really weird at first. I'll re-explain the logic behind what we just did after we play this song. Okay, fall back down, Rancid. Get rid of that. Yeah, the banjo works great in this song. Welcome back, Jamie. Yeah, you got Emma's worms. Let's go. The wiggly worms. My mom called me wiggly worm when I was a kid. I was always just like fidgeting and shit. Now I'm highly sedated. Still a little wiggly though. Yo, how's the swole, buddy? Swole sesh. Yeah, I don't know about that one either, Jamie. Gotta keep mods keeping each other in line. No, my mom used to call me Wiggly Worm. And I was just saying I'm heavily sedated these days. Hell yeah. Quanium, thank you for the raid, and thank you for that request. I fucking love that song, man. Rancid is the shit. Fall back down, you're gonna have my bird up a bear. Mods, can one of you do a remind me, just do remind me 250, 2:50, because I'm gonna put this game development stream on YouTube, but I'm gonna have to cut out that part so I don't get dinged. Okay, let's get this synthwave going again. Okay, what do we got? We got 15 minutes. Let's go back here. So, chat, you're going back up above my head in the butt. Oop. Adelaide came over funny. Damn, hope you're okay, man. What? In the butt? I said what? In the butt. Okay. So, this is quite simple. Hi. So the way this works, we have two variables here. One's called move distance, and in fact, this could probably be a constant, but don't worry about that. Now, a variable, you can think of it as just a little pocket that contains some sort of information. So this could be like, I could call this butt. It doesn't matter. It could be anything. Butt face is 100. Okay. It's just a little something that holds some information. This function here runs 60 times a second. So 60 times a second, and think of it this way, the position of this object that we're working on, which is, how do we go here? This little guy here. Back to the script. This position has an X and a Y value based on whatever axis we're moving it along. So we want it to move back and forth along the X-axis. So all we're doing is 60 times a second, we're increasing its X position by the move speed. Or by butt face. Okay. And butt face, again, is just, just a container that holds something. In this case, it holds the value 100. Sorry, I'm an idiot. I fucking did that all wrong. Now I'm gonna just confuse the hell out of you. This is move distance. Which actually, we don't need the move distance anymore. This is the move speed. We'll call this one butt face. Okay. So 60 times a second, it's going to move by butt face, which in this case is just 0.5. So essentially what that's telling the computer is move it a half a pixel every 60 times a second. It's going to move a half a pixel to the right. Okay. So don't even worry about this part here for now. Let's actually just get rid of this. And I'll show you what happens if we get rid of the timer and everything. So if we go back here. Right, so now it's increasing a half a pixel 60 times a second, and it's just moving. That's it. It's just going to keep going because we didn't tell it to stop. Okay. We have this timer node here, which is part of our object, part of our moving platform object, contains a timer. And all we're saying here is when the timer times out, this timer I can set the time right here. It could be 1 second. It could be 500 seconds. It could be whatever the hell you want. It could be half a second. All this is saying is to change when the timer times out. So every 1 second, it changes butt face to negative butt face. So instead of butt face being equal to 0.5, now it's equal to negative 0.5. So then, once that happens, our position X is going to be moving it in the opposite direction. Right, so same thing as saying, you could do it another way and write some logic and then have position.x minus equals butt face to make it move the other way. But the easier way to do that is to just change that variable to the negative. So now we have like a functioning thing with basically like, we don't even need this move distance anymore because we're not calculating how far it moves. We're just taking a time and telling it to move back after a certain time. Does that make sense? Yeah, you should be in control of the mods. I don't fucking think so, buddy. Butt face. Okay, I see. So the variables are just like, they can be anything. I'm going to change it back to move speed. Call it move speed because that's essentially the speed at which it moves, right? Then we're going to say move speed. Oops. Equals negative move speed. And then after another second, it takes negative move speed and makes that a negative, which is a positive. So it just changes it back to positive move speed. So then it moves back to the right. You have to think like the computer doesn't know what a game is, right? You have to tell it. You just have to be very logical with it to explain what you want it to do. So then now, whoops, go back to our level. Now we have our thing. Every 1 second, it's just changing that variable back and forth. Boom, 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 boom. Seem like macros. It could be. I think in most languages they're called functions, but like, what language are you thinking of with macros? Moob speed, boob speed. Okay, but I think maybe what we want is for it to move a little bit, pause, and then move back, right? What do you guys think? It's like teaching a baby to do something. This is good for me because I'm still such a beginner that, like, if you guys need explaining, me trying to explain it helps me understand it. It helps me realize what I don't understand. Hey, don't do Eric dirty like that. Also, like lines of commands. Yeah, it would be exactly. It's just like a function is just a small program. Just runs a couple of lines of code. Okay, so now let's say we want it to pause. So let's say it moves, stops for a second, and then it moves again. So then now that's tricky. How do we do that? How do we tell it? Well, there's a couple ways. We could add a second timer. We could have two timers, one that does this, and then one that just sets it to 0. That's one way to do it. We could also change our move speed variable to 0 and then to negative 0.5. That's a little bit tricky too. Having a timeout. Well, this part was easy. This is simple. So let's think about this. How could we make this guy pause? If we can make it pause before it moves back in the next 10 minutes, I'll be happy. Then we'll leave it. Okay. So let's think about this. So when the timer times out, let me just think. We could make like a list. I can't remember what GDScript uses. Arrays or lists. They're all kind of the same they're called different things in different languages, but they act kind of the same. So we could have a list. with the different values be 0.5, 0, and negative 0.5. Or this is called Godot. You understand why I talked to you? It makes sense. Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, so how do we tell it to stop? Like, we could do this. We could do move speed equals 0. And what that'll do... Whoopsies. Keep running the wrong scene. See, that'll just make it move and stop. Here, I got an idea. So we could have another variable here. Let's try this. Var stop equals false. Okay. Okay, so let's add a little bit of logic in here now, conditional logic. So what we can say is this: if stop, or we can say if not stop. That basically means if stop is false, which it is at the start. We'll say move speed equals negative. Oops, negative move speed. And then what we'll do is we'll change stop to true. No. Oh, shit. Wait. No, if stop is false, we'll say move speed. Zero, and then we'll say stop is true. Else basically just means otherwise. So this is saying if stop is false, do this. Otherwise, move speed equals negative. Move speed stop equals false. This might not work because it might just switch it back and forth. It might just switch stop to be true and then false and then true and then false. So it might not work. It might not do anything, but let's just see what happens. Yeah, so it moves it, and then now it's just going back and forth between stop being true and false. I was thinking, like, we can have a flag to tell it. So let me just think about this. So stop equals true. So we want it to, okay. All placeholder, big time placeholder. The character. Oh yeah, you can't really see him there. Let me run it. So this guy is like more or less done. Same with the fart, but they'll be animated. They're just like static images right now. Okay, I'm trying to think of this. We could do here. Let's just do 2 timers. This might be the easiest way to do it. So we got, let's rename this one. This will be timer, or timer stop. And we'll add another one called timer go. Yeah, add another one. Call this one timer go. Okay, so then this is when timer stop times out. That one we want to auto start. Timer go, not auto start. Okay. Okay, let's think about this. So move speed equals, oh, you know what? Hold on. Wait, I think I might know why this didn't work. We might not have to do the 2 timers. Maybe this one back. Hold on a second. Let's try this. Okay, we're gonna go. Let me just see if this works, then I'll explain it after. And I gotta leave soon. But it's a doctor's appointment. It's going to be fucking late anyway. So we're going to say constant move speed is 0.5. And then we're going to say called var. Let's call it current movement for now equals 0.5. We're going to get rid of this just for a sec. Okay. So position X is going to equal current movement instead. Okay, and then we're going to say current movement is 0. Otherwise, current movement is going to be negative the constant move speed. Here, let's just see what happens here. It might not work. If it doesn't, we'll go back to the go back to the 2 timer setup. Current movement. Oops. There we go. Okay, let's try and run it again. No. Oh, yeah, there. It's working. Oh. But it's always going... Ah, right. So, man, okay, this is tricky. So current movement changes to 0. We're really close. Yeah, I know. I gotta be on time. Fuck, we're so close though. I gotta finish this. So the logic changing this stop variable back and forth is actually working. What's happening is yeah, it's always changing that. Okay, let me try this. I'm going to try something weird. Stop equals, I'm going to call it 1. Okay, and then instead of setting stop to true, stop is then going to equal -1. And this is going to be, so if stop, try this here, equals 1. All if stop equals -1. Current movement equals move speed times stop. So it's going to multiply it by either +1 or -1. Let's just see if this works here. Pauses, moves back, pauses. And then it just pauses. Okay. Oh, I know why. We have to change this. Then stop will equal 1. Boom. Oh, no, it's still doing it. Current movement equals move speed times stop. And stop should equal 1. Oh! Oh, hold on. Fuck. Oh, man. This is melting my brain here. Yeah, I know. I gotta go. I won't be able to think or function on anything else until this is fucking solved. I'm like 5 minutes away from the clinic, and my appointment's not for another half hour. Okay, let me just think. Let's run through the logic. So, and in fact, I'm going to change this to... We're just going to call this dir for direction. So 1 is right and 1 is left. Or -1 is left. It's because it makes more sense than using stop as the word. Whoops. Okay, so let's just run through this. So if direction equals 1, which it does at the start, when the timer times out, it sets the movement to 0, changes the direction to -1. Then it times out again. If direction is -1, current movement is the movement speed times the direction. And then direction equals 1, so it should just... Oops. Does this need to go above this here? No. No, it's doing the other doing the opposite thing. This is tricky logic to try and get it to move back the other direction. We could just go back to the 2-timer method too. That might work. Might be the easiest way. Actually, our battered sausage, yo, let's go. Not feeling great. Hey, you have a good night there, dude. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for hanging with us. I kind of want to get this logic down though. This should work. Okay, so if our direction is 1, here's what we need to do. Here, I think I got it. I'm just going to go down here. So we're going to do this instead. So when the timer times out, we're going to say if direction isn't 0, direction equals 0. So that means if it's -1 or 1, it's going to change it to 0. And then we're going to say... fuck, hold on. And then if it is 0, then how do we tell it whether to move left or right? Fuck, this is tricky. Hell yeah, Nikki. We'll see you soon. I gotta run soon too. Fuck. I just hate leaving a problem unsolved. Okay, so it moves to the right for 1 second. It stops. Okay, we set the movement speed to 0. And then we need to... fuck yeah. There needs to be like a... We might need another variable that takes into account what the last direction it was moving was. Like this is... man, what the hell? So close. We're so fucking close. It's like we're gonna get the answer right away. I just need to think about this for a second. Yeah, honestly, fuck, maybe we need to just do the 2-timer method. So let's change this back to timer stop. So when the timer stop, timeout happens, we're going to say dir equals 0. But even then, if we do it this way with the timer go, or wait, okay, here, let's do it. Ah, shit, no, that won't work. Man, damn, this is tough. Because we can't use our negative, when we're setting the variable to 0, we can't use the negative thing, the negative trick we were using before where we just set that value to negative, because it'll just set it to -0. And we can't use this constant, because then that'll always set it to -0.5. That's why it's like, it goes back to the left, and then to the left again, and to the left, and it keeps going to the left. Yeah, no worries, Seth. Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna have to solve this later off stream, I think. I'll try and figure this out tonight. See, programming's weird, man. And game development is weird. The simplest little things, like, because again, the computer doesn't know what you're trying to make. It doesn't know what a moving platform is. So you can't just say, like, another thing you could do is have like 2 invisible objects that you place and just say when it hits this one, start moving the other direction. But that still doesn't solve the problem of making it pause in between. Adding the pause is what makes it tricky. Making it switch directions is easy, but when you have to add like a 0 value for movement somewhere in there, it gets a little bit tricky. Anyone with like actual programming experience would probably have a solution to this in an instant, but anyways, okay, let's leave it there. I'm going to solve this later, and then next time we'll do more fart game tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have an answer. I can tell you guys how I solved this problem. We'll leave it there for today. Let's go hit someone with a quick raid. Oh, I hate this. Oh, it's like I held in a sneeze. I can't fucking believe I'm walking away without figuring this out first. Okay, let's hit up Young Gun. We haven't rated Young Gun in a while. As soon as I get home, I'm sitting back down and figuring this out. And I know it's going to be a simple solution once it's done, but sometimes you have to like fuck around for a while before you find the solution, and you're just like, oh yeah, that was easy. Guys, thank you for tuning in. That was a really fun stream. It was productive. Did some more banjo learning. So tomorrow we're going to start with the Boots banjo lesson. And then once that's done, we'll get into more fart game. Depending on how long it takes, we might do a little extra banjo after. And it'll be a little bit longer stream tomorrow. Today's a bit of a short one. Frick yeah, if you guys aren't following Young Gun, he's awesome. His name's also Colton. He's a Texan metalhead. Awesome dude. So show him some love. Stick around for a little bit in his stream if you can. And get the raid message from Jamie. And we'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Bye-bye.